Hi, my name's Ed, and this is another episode of Atheist, the Bird with No Cage. I want to tell you that I'm 79 years old. When I say that, it blows my mind, but it's the truth. And that's certainly not bragging or anything like that. But I was going to start it by saying today I'm really organized. I know exactly what I'm going to talk about, but that's total bullshit. So I'm pulling everything out of my ass. I've got an idea. Here we go. What I want to talk about is this whole idea that, I'm, as I said, atheist, a bird with no cage. That I am an atheist, and what I want to try to discuss is the idea of what it's like to be an atheist as compared to being a person who is a believer. I believe in any deity, I guess. If I'm making any direct comparisons, I'll make the comparisons to, as I can, to people in this culture, in Mexico, the United States, or Canada, because pretty much all of those people, and the ones I'm thinking of in particular, are Christian type folks. So what I'm going to try to pull out of my butt here is what it is like to be an atheist, because I think often when I'm talking to religious folks and I say I'm an atheist, I don't think they really get it. One of the things I've tried to do is to explain to them, okay, look, you believe in this Christian God, like my friend the pastor, the preacher that I meet with on a regular basis, he believes, and we have discussions about, I question that he actually believes what he says he believes. Because if you're a Bible reader and you claim that the Bible is true and accurate, then you have to believe right off the bat in Genesis, you have to believe in the talking snake and the idea that the woman Eve was made from the rib of Adam, the man, whom in turn was made from a handful of dirt, earth or whatever. You have to believe a lot of stuff. But to get back to the thing that I talk about with the preacher, Ron, is that it looks to me like one of the problems about being religious is you have to believe stuff that doesn't make sense. And a psychologist would call that, what is it, dissonance, I think, because the one part of your brain saying, look, nobody can walk on water. Every time somebody tries to walk on water, they sink. But this book tells you that this one guy, Jesus, walked on water, and that it just doesn't make sense, and you somehow have to try to believe it or say you believe it. And I'm never convinced where they're at, how much of what they say is that they really believe that this happened, or they're just saying, if they say it often enough, they believe it's true. So one of the things on the Atheist Experience, my favorite show that I'm going to be watching later this afternoon, I hope, there's a young woman on there, and she says that one of the things that she finds is that when she finally was able to say to herself, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in any gods or any of that stuff, it was very freeing for her. It made her feel as though she didn't have to try to believe things that didn't make sense, or say that she believes stuff that maybe she wasn't sure if she did believe. Because one of the things I see with Christians, I'll talk about them because I'm more familiar with them, Catholics and whatever brand of Christian they might call us. One of the things you hear is that they're absolutely sure that this is true, and I don't think they're being totally honest there. As an atheist, that's one of the beautiful things, is I no longer have to say to myself, yeah, I believe that, and meanwhile I can't believe it, because there's just nothing about this natural world that I believe. For example, one of the examples I like is, I believe, of course, that the sun, or the earth, excuse me, the sun doesn't go around the earth. I believe that what is happening is the earth is turning. So when I see the sun come up over there, that's the east, and move like that through the sky, that is not actually happening. What is happening is the earth is turning like this, and so my position is changing, but the sun is relatively still. I don't have to try to believe. That doesn't seem obvious at first, but I have no trouble believing that now. So when I'm talking to the theists, for example, one of the things I think that my theist friend Ron, he's a preacher, when he says to me, for example, he says his experience with God is just like my experience with my life, like knowing God to him. He claims he has conversations with God, and he says knowing God is no different than me knowing my wife or me knowing another friend or everything. And I don't think that's honest. I think he's being disingenuous. Because look, I can say, fine. You say it's like, for example, me meeting your wife, it's the same thing, and he claims yes, it's exactly the same kind of thing. Just a minute. I can meet your wife, and I shake her hand, give her a hug, the phantom cheek kiss thing and everything. We can do it. How can I do that with your God? You can't. So for him to say it's exactly the same just does not make sense to me. Is he lying? I don't want to accuse him of lying, but he is bending over backwards. In one conversation, went like this. Said, tell me about your conversations with God. Or I said, actually, do you talk to God? He says, yes. I said, does God talk to you? He says, yes. So my next question was, in this conversation, and immediately he got amazingly upset and said, I didn't say it was a conversation. Well, hold it. Question one, you talk to God? Yes. God talk to you? Yes. That's a conversation according to my definition of conversations. And he got into this song and dance about, well, he talks to some people with his cell phone by texting them. And they talk back by texting, and that's not a conversation. I go, well, okay, but you see what the tap dance he get into. One of the things about being an atheist, and more importantly, a skeptic and a rationalist and those kinds of things. By the way, in the hierarchy, I think calling myself an atheist is a way down in the list. It's more important. Among the most important things, I like to call myself a skeptic, a humanist, and so on. The fact that I don't happen to believe in this one thing that some people believe in, the God thing, is down on the list. Anyway, the whole point that I'm making here is that as an atheist, and the way I live my life now, I'm never in a situation where I feel like I have to lie to myself, or I have to pretend that I believe something that I don't believe. And I think that's a very, maybe, I don't know how big a deal it is, but I suspect from the religious point of view, it is a big deal. And just to close, I've used this before, but one time in a conversation with my brother a couple of years ago, I said to him, he's also a non-believer. We were raised in a Catholic church, and I said to him, Phil, when we were kids and we were going to church at this St. Barnaby's church, this Catholic church, did you believe all that stuff that was going on in the church and everything? And my brother's answer was, believe? I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And I think that maybe sums up my attitude about the problem of, I also think that many religious people don't know what the fuck's going on and have to try to pretend that they do understand what they're being taught and so on. So I'm convinced that I'm 79 years old, and being an atheist doesn't help me at all get through my life. I still have all the issues to deal with and all of that. But I don't have to worry about going to hell, because I'm pretty damn sure that doesn't exist. And I don't think I have to worry about going to heaven, because I find that almost as ugly an idea, because I'm pretty damn sure that doesn't exist either. So all I've got to deal with is the fact that I will stop existing someday, and I think I'm getting there. I think it's becoming quite acceptable to me. Once again, my name is Ed. It's always fun being here with you, and I hope that you enjoy the things. Check out my other videos if you feel like it. And thanks a lot, and that's all for today.